Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Managing IP portfolio and patent pools.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. So IP portfolio is, the meaning of portfolio. Suppose you have got, uh, you know, 50 lakhs rupees. KBC में आप जीत के आ गए 50 lakhs rupees. तो आप 50 lakhs rupees को कहाँ एक कंपनी के शेयर में डालेंगे या 10 कंपनीज में 10-10 लाख रुपए डालेंगे?
सेफ बेट तो ये होगी कि आप 10 कंपनी में रीक करेंगे बिकॉज देयर इज अनसर्टेनिटी इन इन्वेस्टिंग इन अ
एक
सिंगल
कंपनी
कंपनी
में डाला, अच्छा हो गया तो अच्छा, अगर खराब हो गया तो आपका सारा 50 लाख रुपए डूब जाएगा जो अमिताभ बच्चन जी ने आपको दिया है। तो इसको बोलते हैं, इस कॉन्सेप्ट को, कि अपना फाइनेंशियल पोर्टफोलियो मैनेजमेंट। तो जो इसी तरह से जो है कि वो आपके फाइनेंसेज और प्रॉपर्टी, यहाँ पे इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी, जो प्रॉपर्टी, तो आपकी इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी का जो पोर्टफोलियो मैनेजमेंट है उसमें है कि आपको which are the patents to maintain for 20 years, which are the patents to be maintained only for 10 years or 5 years, which are the patents to request for examination, and for which patents not to request for examination, because request for examination होगा तो grant होगा तो आपको उसका payment करना पड़ेगा, and which are the patents which you should file in one country, your own country, which are the patents you should file in 3 countries or 5 countries or 20 countries or 30 countries. These are all part of the patent IP portfolio management. And which are the patents which are to be filed through PCT application, which are the patents to be filed only domestically, and see whether to file abroad or not, because PCT application is also quite high. So these are all the things. And then another concept is patent pools. Patent pools means there are so many patents, and which the technology is changing so fast. Like in the case of mobile technology, mobile telephones, you go to the market every 3 months, you find a new mobile handset in the market with many more features, improved memory capability, and so on and so forth. So all companies, every company has filed 300-400 patents in the this mobile technology. Now, if you are, all these companies, they find that they are all doing research work in this field, and what research is their own, and suppose that research has also been done by someone else, then that company will say that it was my research, it was my patent, and they'll sue you in the court of law, and you sue them in the court of law for another 4 things. They say it was my research, they say कि नहीं हमारा भी रिसर्च है, फिर आप कोर्ट में डॉक्यूमेंट्स प्रूव करते रहेंगे इतने सारे, कोर्ट के जज को इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के जो पेटेंट्स हैं वो समझ में नहीं आएंगे आसानी से, बिकॉज जो जज है वो ही इज नॉट एन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एक्सपर्ट. So you will be spending, all the companies, 4-5 जो major companies हैं, they'll be spending millions of dollars in court cases and so much of hassles, and rather than doing more research, more R&D, and filing more patents, they'll be more litigation oriented companies. Sorry. So what they do, they decide कि let us say that these are the patents which are in the common pool. So anybody can use anybody's patents. If a particular patent they want to keep out of the pool, they can do so also, which they think is very important, major patent, and they want to have edge over other competing companies. But other than a few, almost all the patents are in the common pool, and they will not go to court because they are using the patents or their own research from the pool of the patents. So these are the 2 things we'll be discussing. So you are able to see this screen.
Yes.
So when we talk about IP portfolio, it refers to patents, industrial designs, trademarks, and copyrights, all. But primarily, it is for patents. Okay. Mostly it is with respect to the patents, and I'll also be discussing more with reference of patents. Now, in this, the research process is inherently uncertain and risky. You keep on doing research, sometimes long periods of research, there's no very commercially worthy patent comes out. Sometimes it's a luck of the researchers, luck of the company. So many factors are there, the kind of conditions which are there, which put pressure on the researchers, like the COVID conditions. You know how normally the drugs which come in the market, the vaccines which we had, Covaxin and Covishield and all such vaccines, they are generally, the patients of any particular disease are not so many, so it takes time. They have to do experiments. So first they do the animal trials, then human trials. After, you know, taking the written consent of the patients and their attendants, family members, and so on. So something which takes 10 years had to be in a very hurried manner, had to be brought in the market because the conditions were such that millions of people started dying. So far, 48 lakh people, half crore people have died with this COVID. So when 1.5 years back it started, so at that time there was no vaccine whatsoever. So there was so much of pressure on the researchers to do research very fast. So research may be done, it may be risky, uncertain, more expensive. All kinds of possibilities are there. And risk can be mitigated by having an informed idea of what to research. Like in this COVID case, the all researchers and all these pharmaceutical MNCs labs, they knew that this is particularly what we want to do. Earlier, you are doing so much of research, but now you know that this was a virus, coronavirus, and it is very clearly there. You could take the people are dying when a person is at deathbed. You can, uh, you know, get the virus and do all these things, and the research is more focused, and therefore risk can be less. Now, when you say that what the vaccine is in 1,000 rupees, but look at the demand of the vaccine and the competing companies which are supplying the vaccine. The demand is in hundreds of crores. So 100 crore requirement of vaccine multiplied by maybe if it is 100. So 100 crore multiplied by 100 rupees profit margin out of, suppose you say that out of 1,000 rupees vaccine, suppose the profit margin is 500 rupees. So 500 multiplied by 100 crore or 200 crore or 300 crore. So what is the total profit? 50,000 crore. Okay. So, but where the demand is less, the number of patients are less for a particular disease, there the price of the medicine which comes out of R&D will be very high. Like about 6 months back, there was uh, you know the vaccine was priced at medicine. Some injection was priced at 10 crore rupees, and the import duty inclusive, it was 16 crore rupees, and it was for a small child of about 1 year or less than 1 year old. The government waived that complete custom duty of 6 crore rupees, so that it could be imported in 10 crore rupees, which was also very high. So, Now, research to avoid reinventing the wheel. The concept of what is the meaning of reinventing the wheel? Everybody knows the concept, reinventing the wheel.
Means something which is already there. We are researchers are doing research on that to
Yes.
reinvent, to improve that or something.
Yeah. So when you do adequate, well thought out research, you do good literature review so that you don't reinvent the wheel, so that your, the IP which is created is, for sure that it is uh, and the novelty is there. Otherwise, if the novelty is not, your literature review is not well done, then you will find that you come out with the same thing after 3 years, which was already known 3 years back. So you have wasted your research, your money. Then research to avoid infringement of existing patents. Again, you have to ensure that the research you are doing, and then you say, "Oh, it's my own research." And before you file a patent application, it will take 18 months for publication and all that, and you start using your own research. And later on, somebody comes and sues you in the court of law that this is something which is under patent, and they are using this thing, it is their patent, which is 3-year-old or 2-year-old patent, which is already granted. And now, although you have done your own research, but in the court of law, even if you prove it, it will be considered as infringement, because your patent is already there. You can keep doing research on the same thing and come out with the same findings, what is already a patent. So research will not be considered as your own research in terms of novelty, and you may have to pay damages for infringement, because you cannot prove that it is not infringement. Then avoid wasting research and development funds. Uh, on this, there are a couple of studies which are there. The Durant's 1998 survey of UK small and medium enterprises found that 71% of the surveyed SMEs reported wasting R&D expenditure because of patent mismanagement. So they did research on something which was already there and they wasted. So 71% of the companies reported, SMEs, small and medium enterprises, reported that they had wasted their R&D expenditure because of patent mismanagement. Another, a survey of best IP management practices by Petrash Williamson revealed only 50% of the surveyed companies perform a patent search and others don't. So they might be doing something which may be infringement also. And now, particularly in the present scenario, more research means more patents. More patents mean need for more effective patent portfolio management. Okay, is that all clear?
Yes, sir. So portfolio is made by a specific companies or a specific
Company,
researchers. Yeah.
company.
Okay. Okay.
स्पेसिफिक रिसर्चर हजारों पेटेंट, वो जमाना गया जबकि एक कोई रिसर्चर इतने पेटेंट कर देता था, क्या नाम था उसका, बस मुझे नाम भूल जाता हूँ उसका, बल्ब वाला था ना जितना इलेक्ट्रिक बल्ब,
Edison.
एडिसन, हाँ एडिसन का नाम
Yes,
भूल,
sir.
आई डोंट नो व्हाई आई फॉरगेट ऑलवेज एडिसन. So Edison ने few thousand patents ही filed, but now people are, you may be filing, you may be inventor for 1,000 patents, but you don't have your own personal research lab. Okay, you are on, working as a, a very senior scientist in a company. You may be having 10 crore rupees or 20 crore rupees annual package, because you are filing so many patents every year. Every week you are filing a few patents, and many of them have become so commercially successful that the company has earned 5,000 crore rupees only because of your patents. So they will reward you, they will give you good salaries, good promotion, everything. But the patent are no uh, in the ownership of the company. Now, which are the important factors which influence IP portfolio? management. These factors are number of patents, whether your company has got uh, tens of patents, that 10, 20, 30, or you have got hundreds of patents, that is 100, 200, 300, 400 type, or you have thousands of patents, 1,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 patents. So accordingly, your decision would be there in the patent portfolio management. You got only 10 patents, and even if you keep on renewing these 10 patents for 5 years, although they are not that important commercially worthy भी नहीं है उतने, but still you got only 10 patents. You say कि चलो ठीक है, I mean at least I'm in the market. When I always claim that we have got these 10 or 15 or 20 patents which are granted and also in force. It also gives you prestige that your 10 patents or 15 patents are in force, as compared to you have filed 50 patents and 50 patents got granted, but none of them is in force. That means you are not paid any renewal fee. So your patents in force are zero. So many companies file, keep on paying renewal fee. But if your patents for the similar level of importance of patent, your company has got say 5,000 patents, then you will not renew those 5,000 patents if their level of importance is uh, for which you had renewed if there were only 10 or 15 patents you have. Is this point clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Then which is the group and subgroup of the patents? Because the patents, when they are classified, I will discuss next time the IPC, International Patent Classification. So in the patent, they are divided into classes, then groups, subclasses, groups, subgroups, and subgroups. So in that particular group, there are very large number of patents with fast technology obsolescence, or there are just limited number of patents. If there are limited number of patents, that means the research is not forthcoming so fast. And when the research is not forthcoming so fast, then you would like to retain the patents. But if the patents in that group or subgroup, they are say 10,000, 15,000, then things are coming so fast. So your patents, you may not renew more than a few years, 1 or 2 years or 3 years, because so much more research has been there in the market, in the industry. So you know that nobody is going to be your, patents licensee, or you also are not using the same technology which you have patented for the, what you used last year. This year you're not using any of the technologies which you had used last year, where the technology of obsolescence is very high, and you are uh, you know you are yourself not using your own technologies of last year in making the product this year, because new research, new technologies, new patents have come up of your own also, and competing companies also. Then nature of your patents, how unique is a patent, what is the USP? USP is unique selling proposition. It is not only used for marketing purpose. Unique selling proposition has become a generic word now, USP. I hope all of you are aware of the term USP. You can
Yes,
write
sir.
down unique selling proposition. So what is that very specialty about you? So what is the specialty about your patent? It is breakthrough or incremental. So all these things are very important. If it is breakthrough patent, you would like to maintain it. That means you keep on renewing it for 20 years, because anybody who wants to do something further, maybe using the same patent or maybe using a patent which they have filed and got granted, which is based on your patent. So if it is based on your patent, they have to take a cross license from you. So for breakthrough patents, you would like to keep it all 20 years. But if it is a marginal incremental type thing, you may keep it as long as you need it. Just 1 minute. So then what is the value of a patent? If your patent is very valuable, you keep on renewing it. If the patent's value, we have discussed the valuation of patent. If the value of patent, commercial worthiness is low, you may not maintain it for a long time. No, not all the 20 years, maybe 5, 7, 8, 9 years. After that, you stop renewing the patent if the value of patent is low. Then remaining term of the patent. The when a patent is only 5-year-old, the remaining term is 15 years. When the patent is 15-year-old, the remaining term is only 5 years. So this is also sometimes becomes an important criteria for deciding whether to maintain a patent or not. So this is along with the other considerations. It is not so much of a standalone, but this is the combined other consideration. And second is another thing is the similarity with other existing patents. What is the similarity with other existing patents? If this is very similar, uh, you know, uh, people will be using other patents, and your patent will be less in demand. But if it is not so similar, it is more unique, then those who want to use your patent will seek a license. And you, even if your patent you are using and not licensing, then also your product is likely to be quite different than other companies' products, because of there is no similar patent on which the technology of which is being used by other competitors. Then whether licensed or not, if a patent is not being licensed at all and you are also not using, you may not like to renew it for long. But if a patent is being licensed or you are using on your own and also it is in demand, you are giving a non-exclusive license, you are also using and you are giving license to some other company to produce a product. Now suppose there is a company which is a medium-sized company in India. Now if this company knows that they have got limited exports to a few countries only of the product, so it could be only in a few countries. But if the uh, product is so useful and that is not being manufactured in Latin American companies, and you are not able to export because you don't have so much of infrastructure to have your own export system, your own dealer network and all that, and people from that country are not aware of your product, you cannot do marketing in that country. So what do? You look forward to some good company in those Latin American countries or African countries which can manufacture the product locally under your license, and they will give you royalty. So it is an important consideration whether it is being licensed or not being licensed so far, and how important the product. Then licensees are single or multi-patent licensees. Uh, and this is an important thing. You have to look at it from this point of view that there are companies which are having only one patent and they start producing some product. There are companies who have got, several dozen patents and they are producing the goods. So those companies which are having several dozen patents or they are producing the goods, so they are using your patents, they are taking the license, and there you have to see that how long, in totality, what is the company's uh, background, foreground, how they had been using it in the past. uh, I mean, uh, you have to do complete analysis for such companies uh, about their, which are the products they are producing, which are the new product launches they are doing, new product, new brand launches they are doing, and what are the technologies they are using. So everything has to be considered in totality by any of these, by the licensee, by the licensor, about the licensees and licensee companies. So licenses are exclusive or non-exclusive. If it is, non-exclusive, you continue for a longer time. If it is exclusive, you continue so long as it is being in demand. It is in demand. Then license is current and future dependence on your patents. If it is they're more dependent on your patents, you continue for a long time. But if they're not so much dependent on your patents, then you may not like to continue for a very long time. You have to do the cost benefit analysis. Then earnings from current licenses. If your earnings are very high, you don't mind, maintaining a few more patents. But if your earnings are very low, then each rupee becomes important for you, each dollar becomes important for you. Then marketing efforts already put in. If your marketing team of your company is good in marketing your technology and finding uh, customers who would be interested in taking a license from you, then marketing efforts have been already put in. And after having put in strong marketing efforts, uh, you would like to maintain product for some more time to see whether some uh, potential licensees come up or not, because the efforts have been put in. But efforts have not been put in, or your marketing team is weak. Marketing of the technology, not marketing of the product, marketing of the technology. So technology marketing team is weak, and they have not put in much efforts. Then you may like to uh, renew it for lesser duration. So we are all talking about lesser duration or more duration comparatively. Then strength of technology marketing team. If the technology marketing is very strong, then you like to wait for some more time and see whether something tangible is coming or not. Now I am coming to the patent pools. A patent pool is an agreement between two or more patent owners to license one or more of their patents to one another or to third parties. A patent pool allows interested parties to gather all the necessary tools to practice a certain technology in one place. For example, one-stop shopping, like you go to shopping mall, you buy everything, rather than obtaining licenses from each patent owner individually. So they put all the patents in a pool, and then, as I told you earlier, then they use each other's patents freely. There are certain examples are there from the history. When the sewing machine was in the early stage of development, so the sewing machine combinations were being tried by different companies. So, it is a more complex machine than other things at that time. In those days, sewing machine means, so many components were there. 1856 was the time even when motorcycle or car were not there in the market. So only trains were there, steam engine trains. So steam engine was one engine which the coal will burn in the engine, and burning of the coal will use will will lead to boiling of the water, which will produce steam, and the steam will run the piston based that steam engine. So other technologies where the assembly line kind of thing was not there. So sewing machine, today you may find the aeroplane is more complex, car is more complex, but in those days there was no car, no aeroplane, nothing. So it was a very low technology era in 1856. The printing presses were also very simple comparatively. So at that time, the sewing machine, so many things came up and parallelly research was going on. So many companies, major companies, including Singer, which was one of the oldest, best company of sewing machine, they had a patent pool. way back in 1856. Then, of late, not that old, Bluetooth Special Interest Group was created in 1990s. This Bluetooth technology was being researched and findings were there parallelly by so many companies. So they started having a patent pool, and uh, they started working together. And this was another example of 1997 patent pool. Then multimedia home platform technology in 2004 for a patent pool. Then Unitide pool for its medication in 2006, about 15 years back, because so many pharmaceutical companies were having their own research and they were not sure whether what molecules they're using and how they are, you know, uh, unintentionally they may be infringing somebody else's patent. And when that is situation uh, for all the companies, they say ki rather than going into the court and spending millions of dollars, let us have a patent pool. So these are the examples I have given you in 19th century, 20th century, 21st century for the patent pools. Now, with
Sir,
the,
I
yeah,
think like in when there was no internet at that time, patent pools would have been more useful than in contrast to today. Like today, everything is available on internet. You can search. So today, like it's kind of not irrelevant.
no, it is what we are saying is only partially true, but the main thing is that if research is at a very fast pace, if you have filed patents in a particular domain, 2000 patents you have filed in your country on the same or similar kind of a technology, and other companies have also filed 2000. Now, another third company like a mobile technology. So, all these companies which are there right now, 5 6 companies, they may have some particular patent which they say we are not putting this particular patent in the pool because this is our USP. But all other patents, 2000 out of 2000, they say ki this, you know, 1995 patents they are putting in the pool. So you know that which are the 5 patents they have not put in the pool. So you will not infringe those 5 patents. Okay, but 1995 patents of the other company you can use, which are also similar to your patents, and they can use your patents. And actually, it is more than using each other's patents. It is, prevention from infringement cases in the courts. So getting this point, the main idea is this.
Yes, sir. The main idea is this. It is created for collaboration,
Yes,
basically.
exactly. Pool is collaboration.
Yes.
हाँ?
Okay.
So when you do carpooling, जब पेट्रोल एकदम से प्राइस बढ़ने लगे थे, people you going to cannot place from the same colony. तो हेलो हेलो करते उन्होंने कहा हम अकेले जाते हैं, अकेले आते हैं. तो जाने का टाइम सबका फिक्स होता था 8:30 9 के बीच का. तो वी कैन गो टुगेदर. रिटर्न का टाइम थोड़ा चेंज होता था कि somebody is leaving at 6:30, somebody is leaving at 7, somebody leaving at 7:30. तो उन्होंने कहा कि जो 6:30 चलता है वो थोड़ा सा वेट कर लेगा और 7:30 जो निकलना है वो थोड़ा जल्दी निकलेगा. So we will have 4 persons will pool this thing, so that at that time the salaries were so less. You know, going to Connaught Place from your place was very expensive in terms of proportion of your income being spent on petrol. Now the incomes are high, so you are back to the earlier situation. You go alone in your own car and come back at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You can come via doing some shopping and all that. But when I'm talking about 20 years back, 25 years back, the salaries were very low, and at that time, the need was there to do carpooling. So pooling means collaboration.
Okay, sir.
Now, there is another concept of IP audit. What is IP audit? You list the remaining term of each IP asset and estimate value of each IP asset. This is the main task you do in the IP audit. And why it is important that list the remaining term of each IP asset. Then it will help you in deciding whether to continue the patent or to bring it in the public domain. And you don't want to bring it in the public domain, it automatically comes in the public domain if you stop paying renewal fee. So that is the decision you have to take, and estimate value of each IP asset. If that IP, particular patent, if it is very valuable, you continue because its value, even if suppose there is one taker of the patent, one licensee is there, he is giving you more money than what you are spending in maintaining your patent. Although even it is 10 times more than the initial 4 years of patent renewal fee. At the last 5 years, it is 10 times. You remember that? We discussed it. Then assess your strengths and weaknesses. When you are assessing your strengths and weaknesses, then uh, you know whether your company is coming up with the patents very fast or slow. So that kind of strength and weakness of your own R&D department is to be done by the company. How strong the R&D department or how weak is the R&D department. Then analysis of profitability of individual patents. So each patent you do the first you have to see the total demand of your patent, different patents. When you say total demand for the patent means that what is going to be the number of licensees of a patent and what is the size of those licensees. Whether these companies are small scale units or medium scale units or large companies or multi MNCs. So MNC is taking a patent license of your patent, then their total number of products they are manufacturing is very large. It is, you can compare it. There is a small shop in a village which are keeping ready-made shirts. So a shop keeping in a small village, say 10 ready-made shirts. What is the choice you have got? Very limited choice. Now, you go to a bigger town, that shopkeeper will have 50 or 100 shirts in the shop. You go to a big city, uh, maybe metros, Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, Bangalore, they will have a few thousand shirts in the shop. And when you go to the Walmart has when they place order, they say that this type of shirt they have to supply it to their 7 lakh outlets across the world, and in each number, sizes, each size. So they say that we want 1 million shirts of this particular type. Now 1 million shirt of one type and 1 million shirt of another type and 500,000 shirts of third type. So they place order for 5 million shirts, 5 million, 50 lakh shirts. Now how many small medium entrepreneurs in the garment sector who are known as fabricators? Fabricator means those who are making shirts for some well-known company in well-known company's brand name. So they don't have such capacities, so they get disqualified by Walmart. They say, no, you can make only 50,000 shirts. No, we don't want to give you order. We want a company which can make a few million shirts in 10 days because the fashion forecasting is done, and they want a particular, the climate change, the weather change, summer, winter. So when the summers come, people, the demand for shirts increases in the Western countries, in USA and all that. So because in winters they are all having a coat or a jacket, they call it. So the shirt is not so visible. But when they come in the month of April, so when in April, May, the demand of shirts will rise very fast in the Western market, in the developed countries. And when the demand rises, uh, they have to be fully stocked by mid-April. when they have to be fully stocked by mid-April, the shipment will take 15 days to 20 days, and that their supply chain management will also take some 10-15 days, 1 month in advance. So by end of February, the shipment should be ready for supplies. So February means they have to make all these shirts in the month of January and February, and the quality checks are there. So December, January, February, in 2-3 months they have to make so many million shirts. So India's small garment manufacturers or fabricators are not able to make. This is just I wanted to explain with one example that uh, the how a particular big companies are uh, 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 they, like, if your patent is being licensed to a company which is dealing in millions of products, millions of units of output, then it becomes important. But if your your licensees are small companies, then it may not be that important. So the analysis of profitability of individual patents in terms of who are the uh, licensees of your patent. Then cross licensing. What is the possibility of patent pools? Are you putting your patent in the patent pool or not? If there is a very strong possibility of cross licensing, what you would like to do? Would you like to put it in the pool or keep it independent, out of the pool?
So pool में रखेंगे sir.
Say it again.
So we'll put it in the pool, sir, if possible.
If the possibility of cross licensing is very high, you'll put it in the pool so that everybody can use it freely, or you'll keep it out of the pool so that people take a cross license from you and give you royalty.
So we'll keep it out of the pool, sir. नहीं तो misuse हो जाएगा, sir.
You would like to keep it out of the pool.
Yes,
If
sir.
the possibility of
Cross licensing is more.
is very high,
Yes, sir.
then the profitability analysis without cross licensing, you do that also. If you're there may be some cross licensing, but that cross license is being taken by a company which is producing a small quantity of goods. So you say it is not worth it. Profitability point of view, it is not so much important. So you put it in the pool, because then you put in the pool, others will also put it in the pool. If you keep 5 patents out of the patent pool, out of the patent pool is of 5,000 patents, 5 companies each, theoretically, hypothetically, each company is contributing 1,000 patents in the pool, so 5,000. And say somebody is keeping 10 patents out of the pool, so you would also like to keep 10 patents out of the pool. If they are keeping only 1 or 2 patents out of the pool, you would also like to keep 1 or 2 patents out of the pool. Okay, it is the reciprocation principle. In all such cases, it is like India-China border. If they're putting 100 tanks, we are also putting 100 tanks in Pakistan border. So that is why that is how we say we want to do de-escalation, and that is what we have got 13 rounds with China. You are having high presence there, we are also keeping high presence. You reduce, you go for de-escalation. We'll also reduce our forces and everything there. So we'll go for the peace. And if they don't remove it, then that means it is a threat to us. So we are also not. We are keeping our thing well prepared on the border. So it is always on a reciprocation basis.
Sir, one question.
Yeah.
How do you become a part of a pool? See, let's suppose if I'm a new company, I don't have that much in patent, so I will not be a very good contributor for a pool. So how do you become the part of it? Do they have any kind of a charging system or stuff like that?
No, you don't become part. You don't become partner of the pool. Simple.
Okay.
You don't become partner of the pool. If they're contributing 1,000 patents in the pool, and you say, I'll contribute 3 patents in the pool, so they are, जैसे आप कहते हैं ना कि दो फैमिलीज हैं, एक अंबानी का है, एक अडानी का है, तो उन दोनों फैमिली में मैरिज आती है। पहले राजा महाराजाओं की फैमिली राजकुमार राजकुमारियों की होती थी, अब ये थोड़ी कि गरीब आदमी की वो राजा के घर में हो जाएगी शादी, ये वही वाली बात है। वो बराबरी जो होती है ना, आप पहले ग्रो कर लें, आप उतने हो जाएं, जितनी एमएनसीज हैं देवर ऑल स्मॉल वन टाइम।
ओके
स्मॉल से ही वो स्मॉल से माइक्रो से स्मॉल हुए, स्मॉल से मीडियम हुए, मीडियम से लार्ज और लार्ज से एमएनसीज बने हैं वो, विद ऑल देयर स्ट्रेटजीज। तो दिस ऑल मैनेजमेंट गेम। अभी देखो आपको जो ये है क्या नाम है इसका, झुंझुनवाला, यार अवेयर झुंझुनवाला? पिछले 6 मंथ से, पास्ट 1 ईयर में, पिछले 4-5 महीने से एक झुंझुनवाला का नाम बहुत फ्रिक्वेंटली आता है न्यूज़पेपर्स में।
Yes, sir. Yes.
What is the latest likely venture which has been announced after or around the time that Tata Airlines has been, the Air India has been bought back by the Ratan Tata or Tata Sons, Osaka Airlines, the uh, you know um, uh, uh, low cost airlines. You're aware of the concept of low cost airlines?
Yes, sir, we are aware.
Which are the airlines which are low cost?
So this one, Indigo is low cost, sir.
SpiceJet, Indigo, है ना?
Yes, yes, sir.
It is ultra low cost airline. Ultra low cost airline, LCA. ULCA is ultra low cost airline. So ultra low cost airline he is wanting to launch. And 2-3 days back in the papers, if you read Times of India or Hindustan Times, there is one page on business, and there's page on business, so you all should read. And 2 pages I would recommend. One is on business, other is global. What is happening across the world. So these 2 pages, if you read, I think it will be very, very beneficial to all those who read these 2 pages every day. So in the business, you know that what is happening in the country and what is happening in the corporate sector of our country in a quite adequate details. Earlier days when this business page was not there, we had to necessarily buy and read Economic Times or Financial Express, which earlier they were in the white newsprint by the black printing, but then they switched over to a bit brownish paper, and they are known as brown newspapers. Brown newspaper means it is a financial dailies. So they are also about 15 pages, but for an average person, for a well-aware citizen, it is not important or not necessary to go through those 15-20 pages. If you are a person in that corporate sector with particular kind of stakes, then you have to go in more details. But for a normal person, one page in the Sun Times, Times of India, Hindu, Statesman, all these papers give one page on the business. So you should go for it. So is that clear now? That a very newcomer. So now cross licensing, a profitability analysis without cross licensing. You have to do that. If the cross licensing is beneficial, you go for it. If it is not that beneficial, you put it in the pool. But also keeping in view that how others are doing. It is a situation like in oligopoly market. I'm sure most of you must have done a course in economics at some stage. Oligopoly market is the market situation characterized by existence of a few big sellers or producers, like Colgate and Pepsodent. Both are large selling toothpaste. and almost 60% market share is by these two toothpastes, Colgate and Pepsodent. Similarly, Coke and Pepsi. Coke and Pepsi, these are the two market leaders. So Coke followed by Pepsi. So these are oligopoly market situations. So these are all, competing companies. They have got very large market shares. So in the patent pools also very large.
Sir, but
Yeah.
this oligopoly you mean is a monopoly type?
No, monopoly means existence of only one producer or seller. There is no question of type. Monopoly, mono means one.
Yes.
Monopoly means one producer. Like before 1991, in the aviation industry, we had monopoly of Indian Airlines. Okay.
Correct.
So that is monopoly. There is no question of type. That was monopoly. And after 1991, uh, uh, Deccan came in the market. Then Sahara was there, and so there were three. So it was oligopoly, and three also become 5, 6. Like Kingfisher came in the market, and Jet also came in the market in 90s. So Jet, Kingfisher. So these are the about 5 or 6 airlines, and India's market was expanding very fast, more than other countries. So this Indigo was launched in India. The Indigo had two co-founders. One co-founder was BTech of IIT Kanpur, 1970 to 75, and we interacted a lot at that time. I was doing PhD there, and we happened to be from the same city, Jaipur. So there is Rakesh Gangwal. So he was the CEO of American Airlines when this 9/11 took place, and then he left, and then he thought, okay, what to do next. So he came up with the idea that in India we started airlines. So that is how this the Indigo was, came into being. So we were at cross licensing. The last point, pooling and profit sharing, terms of license agreement. So the pooling and profit sharing. So in case that is possible, you can go for profit sharing concept also, because I mean there is a possibility. Now what happens in practice, that depends on who takes the initiative for such things and how exactly they come up with it. They say that 20% of the profits of every company will be shared. They will also put in the pool, and profit sharing can be there. So it is not that much practice, because profit is not only function of IP and patent pools. It is a function of all the management strategies, marketing strategies, corporate strategies. The companies, uh, the, some companies are on the rising path, some are on the decline path. Some companies are on rising, then decline, then rise, then decline. Like IBM. IBM was a very fast rising company for several decades. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. In 90s, when so many other competing companies started coming up, they were making more efforts, young people, more dynamic, working hard. So obviously the IBM managers, top management were lethargic, old, less dynamic. So it was, considered as a not a right company to join. So only the people who did not and could not get other good companies like HP and Dell and others, they only joined IBM. But then in the top also the such low work culture people were there. So uh, then somebody strong has to come forward, and they said we have to go for a total uh, restructuring of the company. So they say we'll replace the older people by the young lot, and again the HR has to be very good and very strong in taking bold decisions. So IBM again, after having a nosedive or a misro decline for about 10 years, 15 years rather, it started rising again. Then about 10 years back, again it started declining. So then they sold some of the businesses. ये कौन सा वाला पीसी आता है ना, एक पीसी या लैपटॉप, कौन सा नाम उसका?
Lenovo sir.
हाँ, Lenovo. ये it was a IBM. IBM sold its laptop business, and this was earlier it was IBM. And my first laptop was IBM. That was I bought in I think 97 or 98. 97. At that time, India was not making it. Companies were not there. The IBM laptop was one of the best. Dell and HP were not there. So it was actually physically imported from Singapore by the vendor. And that कि आपका जो है वो आ रहा है, जैसे आ जाएगा I will give it to you, supply to you. So these are the things. So this is about our IB portfolio management strategy. Any questions?
Sir,
Yes.
when we will be getting this slide, sir?
अरे हाँ, ये तो अच्छा याद दिला दिया मुझे. I'll send it. ठीक है, कल परसों में छुट्टी आएगी ना, कल परसों की तो मैं भेज दूंगा.
Okay, thank you.
Can you see this thing or not?
Yes, sir.
Slide.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We can see.
क्या लिखा हुआ है बताओ?
Negotiation skills and other management issues.
Yes, very good. तो चालू कर दें इसको.
सर वो हम लोग को मुझे थोड़े से डाउट्स हैं सर पेपर सबमिशन के बारे में, टर्म पेपर के बारे में.
ठीक है, पूछो.
सर हमें 24 तक पेपर सबमिट, टर्म पेपर 1 और दोनों असाइनमेंट सबमिट कर रहे हैं. सर सबमिट तो हमने तो उसे प्रेजेंटेशन फॉर्म में अभी तक जो बनाया उसे प्रेजेंटेशन फॉर्म में, एक तो पेटेंट इन्फ्रिंजमेंट का है और दूसरा जीआई वाला, एक टैबुलर फॉर्म में है और एक पीपीटी फॉर्म में. बट जब हम टर्म पेपर व्हेन इट कम्स,
क्या दोबारा बोलना क्या?
Sir, we have been given 2 assignments. One is we have to take a case, patent infringement case, and in shape of PPT, we have to talk about everything about the case, everything relevant.
Yes.
So we have done everything in shape of a PPT. Now, when it comes to term paper, do we need to write it in a Word document and submit it to you or Jishan sir, or is that PPT sufficient for first assignment?
It depends if you are able to, include things in PPT. There is no limit, so you can put it in that format. But if you think that you are, keeping things brief in the PPT, then you submit it separately also with more details.
So, but ऐसा mandatory नहीं है ना sir?
वो mandatory नहीं है.
तो अगर पीपीटी पूरा स्टोरी, मतलब पूरा स्टोरी रिलेवेंटली, लॉजिकली और ऑब्जेक्टिवली बताती है विद ऑल द आंसर्स व्हिच टू द क्वेश्चंस व्हिच में राइट,
पहले उसमें स्लाइड बहुत ज्यादा हो जाते हैं उसमें, यू डोंट हैव टू बॉदर कि मेरे स्लाइड 20 की जगह 50 हो गए, 60 हो गए. ठीक है, क्योंकि स्लाइड में फॉन्ट ऐसा होना चाहिए जो उसको समझ में आ जाए. वो जो जनरली होता है कि मैं देखता हूँ कॉर्पोरेट में और स्टूडेंट्स भी वो 12 के फॉन्ट में पीपीटी बना देते हैं, जो पढ़ने में भी नहीं आता किसी को.
यस सर.
है ना, बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं. अच्छा, उसमें क्या होता है, एक और चीज है विच आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ यू शुड जस्ट केयरफुली लिसन. जो पीपीटी बनाते हैं उसमें इफ यू आर कीपिंग ए डिजाइन, तो जो डिजाइन डाल देते हैं ना पीपीटी में, तो आपका यूजेबल स्पेस बहुत कम हो जाता है. यूजेबल स्पेस कम हो जाता है, तो उसमें है ना जो फॉन्ट होता है आपका 12, 14 और 16 का रह जाता है. जब आपको दिखाते हैं वो समझ में नहीं आता, पढ़ने वाले को किसी को समझ में नहीं आता. इनफैक्ट मैं बता रहा हूँ कि जो पीएचडी वाइवा होता है हमारे डिपार्टमेंट्स में, पीएचडी वाइवा के टाइम में सम स्टूडेंट्स मेक दिस थिंग इतने होते हैं कि 12 और 14 के फॉन्ट में होता है कि हम कहते हैं कि स्टूडेंट से कि भाई यू आर डूइंग अपना पीएचडी का प्रेजेंटेशन कर रहे हो, आपने 5 साल काम किया है इसमें, ये बताओ ये क्या लिखा हुआ है. तो कहते थे मुझे पढ़ने में नहीं आ रहा. हमने इसीलिए हमने पूछा था कि जब तुम्हें पढ़ने में नहीं, हमें कैसे पढ़ने में आ जाए, क्यों दिखा रहे हो ये चीज़. जो जिस चीज़ को हम नहीं पढ़ सकते और आप खुद भी नहीं पढ़ सकते हो, दिखा क्यों रहा हूँ मैं? तो वो है कि डेकोरेटिव इस तरह की चीज़ जिसको कि वो डेकोरेशन की चीज़ है ना, कभी भी टर्म पेपर में और इस तरह के जहाँ पे एग्जामिनेशन होता है ना, वहाँ नहीं यूज़ करनी चाहिए। जब कॉर्पोरेट प्रेजेंटेशन होते हैं ना, मैकेंजी ने कहीं जाके प्रेजेंटेशन कर दिया, वहाँ पे आप खूब फ्लावरी प्रेजेंटेशन कर दो, मतलब खूब डेकोरेटिव अच्छे अच्छे स्लाइड्स बना दो, ब्यूटीफुल कलरफुल स्लाइड्स। बट व्हेन इट इज समथिंग फॉर a class requirement or examination requirement like PhD viva और MTech और BTech का आपका viva होता है, उसमें you make a simple slides. Okay.
तो यस सर, सर ये डाउट तो क्लियर हो गया। हमें टर्म पेपर जो MS वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट की तरह लिखना है वो कोई मस्ट या मैंडेटरी नहीं है। अगर हमारी PPT आंसर्स ऑल द क्वेश्चंस लॉजिकली, दैट इज सफिशिएंट।
Yes.
So second question is about the second term paper, which is about GIs. 10 GIs each group is doing. So we have taken 10 GIs. So there are many heads which you have given us when you have given the instructions for that assignment. So there is one thing called application number, and there is one is GI number, which is the first column, and one is registration number. सर जो IPN की साइट में है उसमें GI नंबर में जो जैसे 131, 132, इट इज द सेम नंबर। सर ये डाउट है कि अगर हम ये सोचे एप्लीकेशन नंबर और GI नंबर सेम होता है और हमने लिख दिया और दोनों चीजें डिफरेंट है।
नहीं,
that is not GI number, that is actually serial number.
जो एप्लीकेशन नंबर है that is in the serial order of your application. Suppose देखो, suppose 1000 applications come for admission और 1000 का एप्लीकेशन का सीरियल नंबर 1 से 1000 हो गया। अच्छा, उसमें से मान लीजिए 50 को एडमिशन मिला, तो जो 50 का जो एडमिशन मिला उनका जो सीरियल नंबर होगा ना, पहला मेरिट में पहला कौन था, है ना? तो सबको कहा कि भाई आज आप फीस जमा करा देंगे, सारे लोग, सबने एक साथ फीस जमा करा दी एक ही दिन में। तो उनका जो अटेंडेंस शीट बनेगी वो 50 की होगी, तो उसका जो आपका एनरोलमेंट नंबर है ना, वही फाइनल हुआ ना।
राइट सर। सो वहां पे
जो एप्लीकेशन नंबर देखो, ये जो 50 लोग जिनको एडमिशन दिया है, इनका कुछ तो एप्लीकेशन नंबर था ना पहले।
यस सर।
तो वो एप्लीकेशन नंबर इज एप्लीकेशन नंबर ऑफ दैट मींस दैट डेट इज देयर। आपने जिस डेट को एप्लीकेशन दिया है वो डेट होता है। अच्छा, कुछ होते हैं जिनका की जल्दी प्रोसेसिंग हो जाता है, अपोजिशन नहीं आता, कुछ का प्रोसेसिंग में टाइम लग जाता है, अपोजिशन आ गया, अपोजिशन को रिजॉल्व करने फिर आपको 6-8 महीना लग गया, ठीक है। तो जब अपोजिशन आया उसको आपने फिर दूसरे पार्टी को दिया, जिन्होंने फाइल किया था उन्होंने उसको जवाब दिया 4 महीने में, तो आपको एक साल ज़्यादा लग गया उसके मतलब उसको रजिस्टर करने में। तो रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर में वो पीछे चले जाएगा ना।
यस सर। सर तो हमें बस रजिस्ट्रेशन डेट नंबर और GI रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर, इन दोनों में थोड़ी सी अनसर्टेनिटी थी एंड एवरीथिंग
क्लियर हो गया ना।
यस सर। सो और वो टेबुलर फॉर्म में भी बनाना है। टेबुलर फॉर्म में बस एक चैलेंज आ रहा है, रिमार्क्स अगर ज्यादा हैं तो लिखने के लिए जगह कम पड़ रहा है।
नहीं, लिसन, रिमार्क्स जो है ना, रिमार्क्स को उसके नीचे टेबल के नीचे 1 2 3 4 करके लिख दो, वहां पे ऊपर कॉलम में 1 2 3 लिख दो, है ना। 1 2 3 4 5 6 जितने भी जो रिमार्क्स देने हो, और उसको नीचे उसको रिमार्क्स लिख दो टेबल के नीचे, ठीक है।
ओके सर। और आपने कहा था GI विद पिक्स, तो पिक्चर्स भी टेबल में
फिर वो तो अपनी स्लाइड में आ जाएंगी, जैसे मैंने दिखाई थी इतनी सारी स्लाइड्स। मैंने तो एक चीज की एक ही स्लाइड दिखाई थी ना, वहाँ पे ज्यादा मतलब एक पिक्चर दिखाई थी, वहाँ तो बहुत ज्यादा होती हैं, ठीक है ना। दिल्ली 2-3 पिक्चर इजीली। तो दिखा तो जो उन्होंने ओरिजिनली सबमिट किया है ना,
यस सर।
जो उन्होंने जो पिक्चर सबमिट की हुई हैं वो इस तरह से करते हैं जैसे कि अच्छी तरह से एक्सप्लेन हो जाए कि भाई क्या है। ये वो था ना उसका कौन सा वाला जो मिरर है ना, मेटल मिरर केरला का,
ये सर।
हाँ उसके बहुत सारे वो होते हैं, पिक्चर्स होती हैं, मिरर की शेप डिफरेंट शो करी है उन्होंने किस तरह से उसका है। ऐसे बहुत सारे हैं जिनकी की मल्टीपल पिक्चर्स होंगी, ठीक है।
राइट सर। आगे दोनों क्वेश्चन सॉल्व हो गए। थैंक यू।
किसी और को भी और क्वेश्चन पूछना है?
Yes sir. I wanted to know that sir, why foreign country people register their GI in India, like I seen that
हाँ
from 301 application number 301 to 310. All those GIs are from foreign countries like France and Finland and Spain and something like that. And so all those are in process. They it have not registered.
देखो, India is a fast growing country from 1991 onwards. और उसका जो है अपना जो इम्पोर्टेंस है इंडिया का, बिकॉज ऑफ द फास्ट ग्रोइंग इकोनॉमी एंड बिकॉज ऑफ हाई पॉपुलेशन साइज, जब जो भी इंडिया की इकोनॉमी का साइज ग्रो करता है वो मल्टीप्लाई बाय द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ द पर कैपिटा को मल्टीप्लाई करो बाय टोटल पॉपुलेशन ऑफ 140 करोड़. तो ऑल कंट्रीज इन द वर्ल्ड, उनके सबके मार्केट्स खत्म होते जा रहे हैं. तो दे आर इंटरेस्टेड इन डूइंग बिजनेस विद इंडिया. और इंडिया के अब ओपन इकोनॉमी सिस्टम है, आपका FDI इज अलाउड एंड इट इज एनकरेज. तो उस प्रोसेस में उनकी सारी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इंडिया के 140 करोड़ से आएगी या वहाँ के 2 करोड़ से आएगी? टेल मी. ऑस्ट्रेलिया में 2 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन है, कनाडा की 2 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन है, जो इंडिया में हर साल वी आर एडिंग 2 करोड़. एवरी ईयर वी आर एडिंग मोर देन 1 ऑस्ट्रेलिया. एवरी ईयर वी आर एडिंग मोर देन 1 कनाडा टू आवर पॉपुलेशन. तो यहाँ का जो टोटल मार्केट साइज है, तो जितनी ये बाहरी कंपनीज हैं, दे आर ऑल इंटरेस्टेड इन डूइंग बिजनेस इन इंडिया एंड विद इंडिया. तो इस वजह से दे आर ऑल दे से कि अगर इंडिया में हम कर लेते हैं GI में पैसा, तो खर्चा तो ज़्यादा होता नहीं है. आप देखिए 75 रुपीज़ 77 रुपीज़ को कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं आप डॉलर, मतलब $1 को 75 रुपीज़. तो जो हमारा खर्चा होगा इसमें इट इज पीनट्स. वो एक दिन रेस्टोरेंट में खाना खा के आ जाते हैं वहाँ के मैनेजर, उससे भी कम खर्चा है यहाँ पे GI कराने में. और एक बार यहाँ का GI होगा तो सारे, उससे क्या होता है तो मल्टीपल बेनिफिट हैं. एक बेनिफिट है कि सबको मालूम पड़ जाएगा कि ये चीज़ ऐसी है, तो वो उसको मिसयूज करने की कोशिश नहीं करेगा कभी, है ना. यहाँ पर जो कंपनी के लोग हैं, वो कितने लोग हैं जो कि फ्रांस के सारे GIs को स्टडी करेंगे, बेल्जियम के सारे GIs को स्टडी करेंगे, और हंगरी के सारे GIs को स्टडी करेंगे क्या?
नो सर.
अच्छा, और उन्हीं कंपनीज का जो उनका बढ़िया GI चल रहा है, उन्होंने इंडिया में रजिस्टर कर दिया, तो यहाँ के सब लोग मालूम पड़ जाएगा ना. एक बात. दूसरी बात है कि उनका बिजनेस, इंडिया की 140 करोड़ की पॉपुलेशन, तो उनका वैसे बिजनेस, लोग कहेंगे यार ये प्रोडक्ट उनका GI है, इसको इम्पोर्ट कर लो वहाँ से. तो वहाँ से इम्पोर्ट करेंगे तो इंडिया की अगर 0.001% पॉपुलेशन यूज कर रही है, तो लुक एट द डिमांड ऑफ दैट कंपनी प्रोडक्ट्स इन इंडिया. तो उनको एक और एक्सपोर्ट मार्केट मिल गया ना अपने GI प्रोडक्ट को बेचने के लिए.
यस सर.
इससे अच्छी, इससे सस्ती, सुंदर, टिकाऊ मार्केटिंग नहीं हो सकती है. ठीक है.
यस. सो कैन आई,
आपको है कि 15-20 हज़ार रुपये, मतलब क्या है कि आपको मतलब फ्यू $100 में, आपके फ्यू $100 या आइटम वो समझ लो $1,000 में आपको इंडिया में आपको बिजनेस मिल गया, जिसने इम्पोर्टर ने इम्पोर्ट करना चालू कर दिया. इंडिया में तो हर तरह के बिजनेसमैन हैं, इम्पोर्टर्स हैं, एक्सपोर्टर्स हैं. जो इम्पोर्टर्स हैं वो देखते हैं कि इंडिया में हम क्या चीज़ इम्पोर्ट कर सकते हैं जिससे हमें फ़ायदा हो. तो वो किसी कंट्री के GI वाले प्रोडक्ट को इम्पोर्ट करेंगे, तो उस कंट्री की कंपनी की जो GI का वहाँ का मैन्युफैक्चरर है, और उन सभी कंपनीज के जो जॉइंट GI है, उनका टोटल इंपोर्ट इंडिया में कितने हो जाएंगे, उसके हिसाब से एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन फाइलिंग GI इज नेग्लिजिबल.
यस सर. यस.
पॉइंट क्लियर हो गया ना ये?
Yes sir. So can I use those GIs for my paper, term paper?
Yes. We are going by the serial number.
Yes, but the thing is that according to application number, it is from 301 to 310.
नहीं, मैंने एप्लीकेशन नंबर से नहीं बोला है. मैंने बोला है जो आपका जो GI नंबर से बोला है, जो 1 to 10, 11 to 20 GI नंबर, GI जो सीरियल नंबर ऑफ द अलॉटेड GI.
So sir, actually the paper which is given on IP India's website, that is in that paper only India's GIs are there. Foreign country GIs are not there. So
नहीं, जो उन्होंने फाइल किया है वो होगा उनके कंट्री से ढूंढो. फिर अगर हमारे कंट्री में उसकी एडिक्वेट इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है,
यस,
तो उनके कंट्री की वेबसाइट पे जाके उनके GI ऑफिस की IP ऑफिस की वेबसाइट पे या उनकी वहां से डिटेल ढूंढो.
ओके सर.
आपका वो जो 10 GI जो एनालिटिक्स में स्लाइड हो, मिल जाएगा, ठीक है।
ओके सर, ओके, आई विल फाइंडिंग, आई विल बी फाइंडिंग दैट।
देखो टर्म पेपर का पर्पस ये होता है कि आप उसको एफर्ट करके कुछ चीज ढूंढ के ला के सबको शेयर करें।
Yes sir, and we will be studying also that that will be beneficial for us.
The most important thing of the term papers which I told you कि suppose your group spend 10 hours और यहाँ पे है कि suppose there are 30 groups ने 10 hours लगाए तो 300 hours हो गए ना। तो 300 hours का जो टोटल है वो आपको 5 घंटे में सबने समझ लिया। 300 hours का इनपुट आपको मिल गया। तो ना तो मेरे पास 300 hours हैं ये सब बताने के लिए, ठीक है।
यस सर, यस।
तो पर्पस यही होता है कि आप एक ग्रुप में 2-3 जनों का जो इतना ग्रुप है, आप एक कॉमन एफर्ट करें और उसको आपने 10 घंटे लगाएंगे और उसको 10 मिनट प्रेजेंट करेंगे। तो एवरी ग्रुप इज सेविंग फॉर अदर्स 9 hours and 50 minutes। तो सबके लिए जो होता है पर्पस ऑफ द टर्म पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन इज कि जो आपने 10 घंटे का एफर्ट किया 10 मिनट सबको बता दो आप, और सबकी नॉलेज बढ़ जाएगी। और सारे लोग इसी तरह से बताएंगे तो आप सबकी नॉलेज बढ़ेगी ना कलेक्टिवली।
यस सर, यस, दैट्स।
और सबकी नॉलेज बढ़ेगी तो पर्पस ऑफ द व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ ए कोर्स, आप सबकी नॉलेज बढ़े।
यस सर।
तो वो जब सबकी नॉलेज बढ़ेगी, इसलिए हम कहते हैं कि भाई हमेशा आपको क्लास में जब टॉपिक प्रेजेंटेशन सबको प्रेजेंट रहना है। ये नहीं कि मैंने अपना कर दिया प्रेजेंट और मैं चले गया अपने उसमें। और इसीलिए मैं पहले रख रहा हूँ इसको इस मंथ एंड में कि नवंबर में जब एग्जाम पास में आने लगते हैं उस समय आपको पढ़ने का प्रेशर बढ़ जाता है। तो कहते हैं भाई मैं तो अपना टर्म पेपर प्रेजेंट कर देंगे और चले जाएंगे। तो ये टर्म पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन जल्दी हो जाने चाहिए एंड ऑफ अक्टूबर तक।
Yes, it should be in October itself.
ओके, और फर्स्ट फ्यू डेज ऑफ नवंबर एट द मोस्ट, क्योंकि आई थिंक 15-20 नवंबर से एग्जाम है ना।
यस सर, 15 नवंबर से।
हाँ, तो लास्ट वीक ऑफ अक्टूबर में वी शुड कंप्लीट दिस प्रेजेंटेशन, ठीक है
सर। एक कंफ्यूजन क्लियर हो जाएगा। एक मेरे पास पीडीएफ है, उसमें सीरियल नंबर के हिसाब से सारे के सारे इंडिया में रजिस्टर्ड हैं, जिससे तो कंफ्यूजन नहीं रहेगा कि हम लोगों का नंबर फर्स्ट है तो हम 1 से 10 लिख कर रहे हैं। तो वी आर स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम दार्जिलिंग टी एंड एंड्स एट कोटा डोरिया करके राजस्थान से।
सो 10 नंबर का है।
हाँ, सो वो एक बार मैं शेयर कर देता हूँ ग्रुप पे, सो दैट एवरीबॉडी हैज एन आइडिया कि उनके ग्रुप में कौन कौन सा है, तो कंफ्यूजन नहीं होगा।
हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, वो कर लो। एक मिनट, मैं पहले तो ये हटाता हूँ, इसको हटाता हूँ। अब मैं इसको कैसे करते हैं, इसमें सबका फोटो दिख जाए, जिसमें ग्रुप में जाते हैं। ग्रुप में करेंटली मीटिंग में 24 दिख रहे हैं मुझे। इसको कैसे देखते हैं सबको एक साथ?
Sir, perhaps we will have to switch on our camera, then only you can see.
अरे तो अभी तो 4 दिख रहे हैं ना खाली इसमें।
Oh, that will be perhaps if we open our camera.
नहीं, कैमरे गैलरी में जाएंगे ना। हाँ, गैलरी में ज्यादा लोग दिखेंगे ना।
सर शो पार्टिसिपेंट्स पे भी मिल जाता है।
सर क्लिक ऑन लार्ज गैलरी।
लार्ज गैलरी, हाँ लार्ज गैलरी के नीचे कर, गैलरी के नीचे लार्ज गैलरी, पर उसमें भी ज्यादा दिख नहीं रहे हैं मुझे तो। हाँ, अब धीरे धीरे हो रही है। सब कैमरा ऑन करो अपने अपने। निशान, मेरा कैमरा तुमने कंट्रोल कर रखा है? निशान, स्क्रीन शेयरिंग बंद करना पड़ेगा पहले मुझे। शेयरिंग बंद तो कर दिया था मैंने। हाँ, यस, हाँ जाएंगे हम, इसमें जाएंगे। अभी 2 ही दिख रहे हैं, सब लोग कैमरा ऑन करेंगे तो दिखेंगे ना सब लोग। अरे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, सब अच्छे दिख रहे हो।
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
हाँ
Sir, actually I'm on a PC, so my PC does not have a webcam.
पीसी में कैमरा नहीं होता?
No, sir.
मेरे पीसी में तो है कैमरा, है डेल का, मेरा डेल का है, 10 साल पुराना पीसी है मेरा, 10 ईयर ओल्ड पीसी है डेल का, उसमें कैमरा है।
सर आपने उसमें सर अलग से लगवाया होगा सर।
नहीं
पीसीज के लिए सर अलग से वेबकैम आता है।
एक मिनट देखो, मैं दिखाता हूँ तुम्हें। ये पीछे दिख रहा है, सेंटर में डॉट दिख रहा है, इसमें दिख रहा है।
यस सर।
हाँ तो इसको मैंने नहीं लगवाया, ये इसी में था, डेल का दिख रहा है ना। ये कैसे ऐसे करते हैं। अब दिख रहा है, अच्छी तरह दिख रहा है ये पूरा पीसी मेरा। हाँ
Yes, sir. Yes, we can see.
हाँ, इसमें मैंने कुछ नहीं है, ये पहले ही डॉट इसका जो है ना वो कैमरा है इसमें, जैसा इसमें होता है ना मेरे लैपटॉप में। हाँ चलो खैर की बात नहीं। अच्छा तो एक जिशान, इसका सबको जरा बता दो कि कौन कौन सा किसके ग्रुप में है, ठीक है? 1 से 10, 11 से 20, एक सबको सर्कुलेट कर दो। हाँ जिशान, गौरव कल्याण, you are able to see it the same way I am seeing, or it is differently, everybody is seeing it differently?
Perhaps we can see.
हाँ कैसे दिख रहे हैं सारे लोग? थिएटर मोड में दिख रहे हैं सब? ये मुझे दिख रहे हैं थिएटर मोड में। हाँ हम 5 लोग बैठे हुए हैं लेक्चर थिएटर में। आर यू एबल टू सी द सेम वे?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
चलो गुड। ओके देन वी क्लोज टुडेज क्लास। 3:30 बज गया, ठीक है?
हाँ सर, मैंने अब अपलोड कर दिया है एक पीडीएफ जिसमें मेरे पास जितने भी जीआईज हैं एंड मोर देन 300, सो आप 130 तक ग्रुप्स में, तो वो सीरियल नंबर के हिसाब से सॉर्ट हो सकता है। अगर आप देख लेना, मैं ग्रुप पे अपलोड कर दिया है जीआई एप्लीकेशन रजिस्ट्रेशन। ये
ठीक है। ग्रुप पे ना, मोबाइल पे वो जो ग्रुप उसी में है ना, या
स्क्रीन प्रेजेंट कर देता हूँ जहाँ पे।
हाँ करके बताओ, स्क्रीन प्रेजेंट करो।
सर दिख रही है?
हाँ थोड़ा बड़ा करो, और बड़ा करो, और बड़ा करो,
ठीक है।
और बड़ा कर लो। तो आपका आधा दिख जाएगा तभी सफिशिएंट है।
हाँ
हाँ दार्जिलिंग टी, ये हाँ बिल्कुल ठीक है। ये ना अप्रैल 2004 से चालू हुआ है ना, तो ये जो है ना इसका जो एप्लीकेशन नंबर, ये जो पहला वाला जो है ना सीरियल नंबर, ये जो फर्स्ट कॉलम का जो है सीरियल नंबर, ये जो है ये तो एप्लीकेशन नंबर तो फिर बदलता रहेगा, इसके बाद आगे चलेंगे ना। तो जैसे कि 13 एंड 18 है ना, मैसूर अगरबत्ती का जो है 13 एंड 18 है, फिर ये 15, 16, ये 19, ये सब बदलते रहे, ये सीरियल नंबर चल रहा है ना, ये कॉमन है। तो वी को बाय द फर्स्ट कॉलम 1 से लेके 10 तक, ये ना कोटा डोरिया। फिर 11 जो है मैसूर अगरबत्ती से लेके, और ऊपर चलो जरा सा ऊपर करो, हाँ, और चलो 20, हाँ ये कांगड़ा टी तक। फिर अगले वाला थर्ड ग्रुप इज कोयम्बटूर, कोयम्बटूर ग्राइंडर, कोयम्बटूर वेट ग्राइंडर टू 30 तक जो होगा, ठीक है ना। तो पहले कॉलम में जो दिया हुआ है ना उससे चलो सर लोग।
हाँ ठीक है सर।
ओके एक छोटा सा एडिशन है यहाँ पे।
ओके नाउ, हाँ
यस सर। सर कोटा डोरिया ऊपर 9th या 10th भी है, और नीचे 131 से 140 में 139 शायद कोटा डोरिया है, बट कोटा डोरिया ब्रैकेट्स में उसका लोगो है, तो उसमें लोगो का रजिस्ट्रेशन उन्होंने कराया होगा क्योंकि वो हमारे ग्रुप में आ रहा है कोटा डोरिया लोगो।
तो ठीक है, वो लोगों का उन्होंने पहले उसमें लोगो नहीं कराया होगा, प्रोडक्ट का दिया होगा। जैसे दार्जिलिंग टी का लोगो है वो शुरू में ही दे दिया था उन्होंने, दार्जिलिंग टी का एक लोगो है ना, तो उसमें है कि वर्ड एंड लोगो बोथ दिया है ना, वर्ड एंड लोगो। अब कोटा डोरिया का उन्होंने पहले वर्ड में दिया था, लोगो बाद में दिया, तो उसको हम तो इंडिपेंडेंट मानेंगे, देखो इसको।
यस सर, तो हमने उसे
हाँ
फिर ले लिया है और लोगों को
हाँ
इसी
हाँ,
तरह
बिल्कुल
इंडिपेंडेंटली
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। देखो सीरियल जो पहले कॉलम में जो है ना उसके हिसाब से सीरियल ऑर्डर है, उसी से चलेंगे, ठीक है।
ठीक है सर।
अच्छा, दूसरी एक चीज है कि जो भी रेफरेंसेस हो ना, रेफरेंसेस को क्लियरली लिख दें, और अगर उसमें कुछ फाइल को डाउनलोड किया हुआ है तो जो डाउनलोडेड फाइल है उसको भी साथ में उसके लगा दें, ठीक है।
ठीक है सर।
सपोज यू आर सबमिटिंग ए, अगर पीपीटी में कर रहे हो तो पीपीटी सबमिट करो, तो साथ में जो और 2-3 फाइल है वो भी लगा दो, तो मैं कि उसको फोल्डर के हिसाब से सेव कर लूंगा, ठीक है। तो shall we close today's class?
Yes sir.
Yes sir, we can.
Okay, thank you.
थैंक यू
Thank you sir.
Thank you sir. Thank you sir.